So it's been about a month since I started these seeds, and about, I don't know, a little over a week or so since I moved them into the new soil. So I guess some updates. First, our friend Mr. Preek did not make it. I had 2 plants in there and they both died, so we'll not have any Preek tobacco this year, but some of these other ones are doing quite well. Okay, starting off with the Virginia, I've got 1 beautiful plant in there, only 1. The Rustica, I've got a lot. The Rustica has done really well. The Turkish Basma, looking really good. I really need to separate those. And then the Burley, looks like we've got a good amount of Burley in there as well. So pretty good amount of tobacco in these. Now I did start these later than I should have. I started my test batch early. That one's going just fine. So I felt like doing some more just to see how they go. But it's July now, so we'll see if these grow or anything. It does stay warm here in Arkansas through like September, October, so we'll see, I guess. I'm going to keep going through the process and we'll see what happens. But anyways, what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate these into, they're in seed starting mix now. I'm going to put them into regular soil and go ahead and separate them all out into individual containers. That's going to be a lot of containers. And this is the regular potting mix that I usually use and have pretty good luck with. So that's what I'm going to be transporting everything to. And I'm actually going to be doing this inside today. It's super hot. So I'm actually doing this in my in my bedroom. So good thing is the missus is at work and not home to find out that I'm doing this. So hopefully I won't make too big of a mess. She would probably not want me doing this in our bedroom. Alright, so I have a whole tray of Basma, a whole tray of Rustica, my 1 sole Virginia plant, and then 4 Burley plants. So it looks like the Rustica and the Basma were the most virtuous plants. Oh, I didn't put anything in this one. Whoops. Oh well. And then the Burley and the Virginia were less likely to grow. And then of course we know how the Perique turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and relocate these and let them continue their growing process. Alright, now I've got to figure out where to put all these. This might work. I mean, this is okay for now. Just on top of my freezer here. I wonder if this light will shine on these from up here. Let's see. I mean, it's not awful. Let me see. I mean, not too bad. I might just leave this set up like this just for tonight and just see how everything looks in the morning. Well, while we're waiting for that, I have some other stuff I need to do, and I figured I'd drop a little video in there. So as you know, I have my Havana 608 tobacco growing here, which I've been kind of testing to get the hang of for growing tobacco, and I mean, honestly, it's growing quite well. But I have my backup here that is now getting big enough that it needs its own containers to go into. It's getting too tall for these little planters. So I actually need to move it into some bigger buckets like these. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Now, I didn't have a tiller in time for this year, so I wasn't able to till up a garden. So as you guys saw, what I did was I've actually just been using the buckets. And the soil I've actually been getting from my yard. I know, it's free. And I wanted to test my soil anyway to see how it would do with tobacco. So I've been digging up my soil, and that's what I've been putting in the buckets. But I did something a little different with these, and I'm curious how this is going to go. I've been mixing the soil with some of my potting mix bags, because I have a couple of these. So the soil I've been digging up, I've been mixing some of my potting mix into. And I have another bag over here from today that I didn't finish. So I'm actually going to mix that in too. And then I'm going to use that for my my plants. I've got some buckets, but I don't have enough buckets, so I'm actually going to use some of my tomato plants for some of the other ones because they're bigger. I can at least start the smaller ones in there. So let's give this a try. There we go. We did it. I usually like to fill these to the top. I've learned they need to be almost all the way up for it to work. But I'm going to start here and see how it goes. If it looks like they droop too much, I'll fill them up the rest of the way, but I don't want to mix up any soil. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. This one's kind of small. I didn't realize how small that one was, but I've got these pretty good. They're standing up. If they start to grow and slouch, I can obviously dig them up and plant them a little bit deeper. It's that was a mistake I made with the last batch, was I planted them where they were too tall and they started to lean, so I had to dig them a little bit deeper. But with these, I shouldn't see that problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and move these inside the greenhouse. All right, there we go. So we have the older ones in the back. These are the newer ones. I'm gonna add a little of my soil solution to the soil just because it's brand new soil, and that should help them make it through the night. All right, let's do this. So we will leave these here and come back in the morning and check these. And then we'll also check the ones inside that are under the grow light and see how they did through the night.
Well, the next morning has arrived, and I'm very interested to see how these plants did through the night.
Yeah, still seeing lots of green. So it looks like everything transplanted into the new soil pretty well and survived just fine. So good news there. So just gonna give everything a quick water real quick before we go outside and check the other ones. All right, so gave everything a light misting, which I usually do every morning, and then usually about every night. So we'll go see how the ones outside look. My main curiosity is going to see how these do in this soil mixture versus the other ones, because I did them in the straight ground soil. These I did a little bit different. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. All right, so everything looks like it transplanted pretty well last night. Looking good there. This one looks like it's been eaten up, so I don't have too much hope for that one, but these two are looking pretty good. The rest of these guys, looking good. All made it pretty well through the night. I am having some of that flea beetle damage on some of my bottom leaves, as you can see, so that's something I'm learning about now that I'm having to investigate. But this is, again, the test batch, so not too bad. Now I have over 20 plants inside, so it's going to be interesting to see how many of those make it and how many I move outside, because I am definitely going to need a lot more buckets when it comes to that batch. So this will be fun whenever it comes time. But maybe by the time those are ready to come outside, these will be ready to be cut and you know, started the curing process. So we'll see how it goes. You never know. It's another adventure.